Alright, so I'm going to show you my builds and what I do for my setup here. These are the ability setups that you need for the full auto section. So open with A2 on Emic so that you start out with a shield, and then A1 or A3, A2. Nia, don't ever use her A3. We'll only use it once on manually at the beginning, but open with the A1 and then default to using the A2 as much as possible. And because Emic's in the lead, Nia will always, as long as everybody is full health and has no debuffs, she will always target the lead, so she'll always reset Emic. Yannica, just A1ing. You'll manually A3 at the end to pop shields. That's where you get your damage from. She needs crit rate, but doesn't really need crit damage or accuracy or anything like that, just to stay alive. I have her in the shield set, or in the provoke set, but you can either have her in a hex or provoke her or Nia. Wixwell, just A3ing, or A2ing, as many times as possible, because it's what increases the shields, and increases the duration, and increases the value. You'll manually A3 to have the targeting set for the Hit of Mischief, and then his A1 you'll be wanting to use on Decay when you can. And then Tatura, open with A2, and then we'll manually A3 once, and then just A1ing. He's got the decrease accuracy onto Mischief, so that buffs don't get stolen before we are ready for them to get stolen. Basically, we want him to get the block debuffs up so that we don't get debuffs, so Nia never targets the wrong champion. Increased defense just helps us keep the shields growing faster so that we're not taking as much damage. And then Perfect Veil helps so that when we have the Fear Head come out, nobody's getting feared. And then Demitha, prioritizing the buff extension. And then we're not using this, but we will potentially use it. I'll show you how to add enough buffs with the continuous heal to make sure that other people can get targeted instead of the targeting Emic and Wixwell, who have the high resist. So that's champion setups. The speeds. Speeds are not super important. These obviously I have pretty high live arena bonuses. And then that's why everybody's pretty fast. You can see Yannicka's way slower. But you don't need these speeds. I'm testing running this on Nightmare as well as Brutal. Right now I've been running it on Brutal, but it also works on Nightmare. I am going to test this run on Nightmare so I can show you. So I'll show you the setup. It's going to be, we just A1 with Nia. We get the shield up for the double shield up from Emic, so now we've got the 2 shields on everybody. Extending with Demitha. And then we're going to put up the block debuffs and increase defense. And extend and increase. We're trying to get a provoke onto Decay if possible, but it's not a huge deal. Now we're going to reset with Nia. We're going to reset Wixwell a couple of times right at the beginning so that we can just get the shield stacking quickly. I actually A1 here for a round because we have a bunch of turns on the Devour counter, and Wixwell has enough resist that it doesn't matter if he gets targeted at the beginning. It helps Wixwell get extended buffs and increased shield sizes quickly. So we're going to use the A3 once here, and then we're never going to use it again, just to get the veil up on everybody. Then another extend from Wixwell. Keep A1ing here. We get the provoke. Doesn't really matter at this point, and it's a reset because we got 3%ed. Both Emic and Wixwell have, I'll just let them run that thing on auto at the beginning here because I've got them set up for those first turns. And then we're back to where we were with the reset on Wixwell. This is the one big annoyance with this team, is that if you get 3%, you have to start over. If anybody gets their shield stolen early, it's just a reset. There's no way around it. And it can be extremely frustrating because you can just get stolen from over and over and over again, unluckily. And there's nothing you can do about it. So, we will use Nia's A3 manually once to get everybody the Ally Protect and Strengthen, just to keep the shield stronger. But we gotta let her get a shield stacked up high enough first that it won't end up breaking her shield sets because of the increased damage she'll take from the Ally Protect. So now we're gonna A3 with Emic. We're gonna just keep A1ing everybody. So here with Wixwell, you can put the intercept stacks onto Emic so that Emic then is also just got an extra buff. Or you can skip it and let Mischief choose between Emic and Wixwell. I usually would skip it, but on Nightmare I don't skip it because Wixwell is weak affinity technically, so he's more likely to get stolen from, I think, by Mischief. And then we're just going to keep reducing cooldowns. Basically, this could go on auto now, but I manually do it a little bit further because we have to do Nia's Ally Protect still. So right here, Wixwell's going to get another A2. We're watching this timer on the Devour counter, Demitha. Demitha has the highest crit damage, so she's going to get devoured first, which nobody's going to get devoured, but we just have to make sure that Emic's going to have taunt up starting whenever this Devour counter would hit 0. So I'm going to reset Wixwell one more time here because we've got enough time to get back around to Emic's A3 even without a reset here. And then Wixwell will get one more A2 in, and my sort of benchmark for when Nia can Ally Protect is when I can only see four health bar ticks left. That means I think her shield's going to be big enough that it won't break from the Ally Protect bonuses. So we're going to A3 or A1 with her again here because it's not quite big enough. And then right about when we get back to 0 on this counter is when she'll be able to Ally Protect. And then we just keep A1ing with everybody now, basically. Right here, Emic will get his Provoke, or his Taunt up, which means that now Demitha's going to be safe. We get the Extend. So the thing you do have to be careful of right here is that if you just put up so right there I used the Extend again, so we just used the Extend from Demitha and the Extend from Wixwell. We always have to use this on Emic now whenever it's up. So that cools everybody's cooldowns down once. Now you can see there's only like 3 ticks left in Nia's health bar, so that means that her shield's big enough now. And we're basically ignoring everything the heads are doing at this point. There's an Extend. Wixwell got a cooldown, it looks like. So now we're going to Ally Protect. The thing you have to make sure of is that you can't do the Ally Protect if on that previous same turn both Wixwell and Demitha had extended, because otherwise these skills will the buffs will drop off because they'll not have enough time. See, they're down to 1 stack each on the Ally Protect and the Strengthen, but because Demitha hadn't just used it, she uses it there, and that way she has it extended, and then Emic will cool it down, so Wixwell will be able to extend it. So that way it should now stay. And then we do the cooldown, and we should be on auto here from now on. You can see this. I'll just show you a manual just so that you can see what happens. The cooldown will hit, and then you'll see there's only one turn on this. So now that Emic's down to one turn on this Ally Protect and Strengthen, Demytha's isn't up yet, but Wixwell's will be. So it won't fall off. And now basically, you'll see there it is, there's the extend. And then next time Demytha's will be up, and that way it'll always stay up now. So now we can hit auto and just target, use the targeting onto the Head of Mischief. That way, hopefully this decrease accuracy will stay up as long as possible. Obviously, every time Blight puts up Poison Cloud, it'll fall off because it'll get cleansed from not being able to target Decay. But that's just how the team works. And then you'll see everybody's shields will stay up. So the point here is you have to make sure those two shields stay on everybody. And then basically it sits on full auto. Personally, I usually go until turn 150, boss turn 150, with my speeds at least. That is usually when I take it off of auto and start manually trying to pop shields. So what I'll do is I'll just hopefully let it run up to that point. It might fail here because if we get 3%ed before that point, then we just have to restart. That's how that works. So what I'll try and do is I'll try and let this run, try and fast forward, and when it gets to 150, I'll take it off auto, and I'll try and show you the way I manual it to actually pop the shields and do the damage. Alright, here we are at 150 turns, and you can see that the Mischief Head has 2 turns on a Rotten Ward, so we have to wait here and keep going until that falls off. We want to try and get in before this next Poison Cloud goes off, and then we'll try and see what we can do about getting 2 turns of unkillable stolen. So let's look at what we've got. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buffs right now on Emic. It will probably become 10 if we either put, well, because he's got, oh yeah, no, I took Lightning Cage off him, so he won't get Lightning Cage. I had to do this, I had to restart this run, so that's why he doesn't have the intercept from Wixwell. I decided to leave it off on that run that actually worked. So no, he doesn't have 10, which actually works out better, because then he will stick to having 9 buffs maximum, which means we can give somebody else 10 buffs maximum, and they will then get stolen from. So Emic's at 9, Nia is at 7, Yannica is at 8, so we want to give her a 9th and then 10th buff, and I'll show you how we do that. Wixwell is at 9, and Tatura is at 7, and Demytha's at 8. So basically what we're gonna do here is, because Tatura, obviously the reason he stays at 7 is because he doesn't get Perfect Veil from himself, so that keeps him down at 7, and then Nia doesn't get Ally Protect, so that keeps her down at 7, and then Emic gets Taunt, which puts him from 8 up to 9. Wixwell gives himself counterattack, which puts him from 8 up to 9. So that's why those two stay at 9, those two stay at 7, and then Demytha and Yannica stay at 8. The way we do this, basically, is we'll use Demytha's A3 to give everyone 2 more buffs, but what they are is it's an unkillable and a continuous heal. So the other thing we want to do here is we want to let this decrease accuracy fall off, so that at the time when this falls off, that will fall off as well, and he'll be able to steal buffs. So we're gonna keep just going with the normal stuff until that happens. So right here, I'll show you. So this places block damage first, and then a continuous heal. Block damage can't be extended. So that means it'll only ever go on to everybody for one turn and then fall off again. And if somebody already has 9 buffs, aka Emic and Wixwell, they will only get the block damage, not the continuous heal, and then it will fall off of them again after they take a turn, which means they'll go back down to 9 buffs. Everybody else will get an extra buff from continuous heal and block damage, and then they'll keep the continuous heal, which will then get extended, and the block damage will fall off. So that's how we increase Yannica and Demitha's buffs up to 9, which then lets us use Wixwell's A3 to place a 10th buff on them, prioritizing them. So we're not going to do this yet, because if we did, since Mischief's about to get a turn, he would steal from somebody random, because we'd be giving everybody up to 10 buffs right here. So we have to do another round and wait to do Demitha's A3 next turn, probably, so that everybody can then drop it back off again before Mischief tries to steal while he's still got stuff on him that he shouldn't. Emic will always A3. You have to always A3 with Emic regardless of what's going on, and you always have to A2 with Nia onto Emic regardless of what's going on. Those things always have to happen or you'll get eaten. We're going to not A1 onto this because we want that to fall off. We are going to... he's going to speed of decay, which is probably good. It's probably better if he doesn't have the decreased speed up here. So we're going to let that go through, and we're not going to provoke. And the reason we can't use this yet, because we don't want either Yannica or Demitha to get a 9th buff, or we won't be able to get them a 10th buff, because we need them to be able to get both the unkillable or the block damage and the heal. And since the heal goes on second, if they had 9, they would only get the block damage and it would fall off again. So we have to only start using intercept after they get a continuous heal from Demitha's A3. So we are just going to hit that head. This guy's going to do his thing right now, which is fine. Right here, looks like we still have to go an extra turn. Yannica still put provoke on, so that's just how that's going to go. It doesn't matter because Yannica's AoE. We're still going to go like that. And then right here, we want Mischief to go as quickly as possible here. Hopefully before Demitha, but we don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so he goes. Perfect timing. Demitha, we're going to A3 now. This gets 2 buffs up onto everybody. We always have to still A2 onto Emic. Still always just A1 there. Refresh those. Always you have to put those 2 on, and you saw that what happened here now. Emic still only has 9 buffs because he had unkillable for a turn. These hadn't fallen off, so they still had 1, and they just go back up to 2 because that's always how it works. It goes down to 1, up back up to 2. So now he's back down to 9. Now Nia also has this continuous heal, which Emic didn't get. Importantly here, Yannica now is at 9, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to use Wixwell to put a 10th one. Now, right now, Wixwell still has 10 because he has block damage. But he's going to go again before Mischief goes here. And Demitha's fast enough to go again before Mischief goes because Mischief still has decreased speed on. So now we're going to put this intercept onto Demitha, or onto Yannica. Yannica's going to extend. That drops the 10th buff off of Yannica. or off of Demitha, right? No, so she should be at 9 as well. Yeah, so she's at 9. Demitha, or Yannica, we hope that Mischief goes before Yannica here, which is really hard to tell because you can't see turn meters because everybody has so many buffs. So Yannica has full buff meter. She will probably go before Mischief. Ideally here, you want Mischief to steal 2 turns of Unkillable. Because what happens is Unkillable isn't extend. Well, it doesn't matter. He doesn't extend on himself anyway. But what's going to happen, he's going to steal all these buffs. Then he's going to spread them. And it looks like we may lose a turn because of Head of Decay getting Rotten Ward on himself. But we'll get there. Basically, if he steals 2 turns, then once you wait a turn for him to spread, he would still have a turn of Unkillable on him. And you want that because if you don't have this 2 turn to steal, he'll steal 1 turn, convert it to 2 turns of everybody else and spread it onto them. Then you pop the shield. He dies because he uses up his only turn of Unkillable. Everybody else stays alive. And then you can't keep going because it's very unlikely that Mischief spawns again because everybody else will stay alive and Mischief will be dead. And then when it respawns on the higher difficulties, it's much more likely for it to be a different head that respawns. Anyway, so we'll continue going and we'll see what happens. Here you see still a massive shield. Decay should Rotten Ward himself unless Yannica gets a chance to provoke here because he's got Poison Cloud. We unfortunately cannot provoke with Wixwell. So we just have to hope that either Yannica gets the A3 on, or Yannica gets the provoke lucky with her provoke set. Now what we need to do is, because Yannica's got none of her buffs anymore, we have to start buffing her back up again. So we're still going to do this, but now everybody who used to not use buffs is going to start getting buffs again. So yeah, you can see he Rotten Warded over here, which destroyed the shield. So what we want to do is we just want to keep going. And you'll see here that Yannica is going to pop everybody's shields. See how this 2 turn, he still has 1 turn of shield here. Pop. Boom. 979 million. If it had been this head as well, then it would have been 1.3 billion because it's basically like whatever it is, 400 million per head or something, or 300 million per head, 300 and a bit. So we lose, 300 million damage because of that Rotten Ward. But because they all have Unkillable and a continuous heal, they'll all stay alive. It'll bug out their health bars because they can't, the game can't deal with the fact that they just all took 2.4 billion damage or whatever it is. So the health bars will show as empty, except for this one, obviously, because he didn't actually lose, because you can't actually destroy that protected Rotten Ward. We're going to keep going, get Yannica buffed back up, and then try to have Mischief steal once this starts to get low. Try and have him steal off Demitha and steal a new round of shields. And that's why basically we want to try and get buffs onto everybody one at a time. Keep doing this. Steal a new shield every time and spread it and pop it again and again until you've used up all of the big shields you've created. Now, most people would be happy and just do 1 billion damage and then close it. I am picky and want to do it as many times as possible, so we'll see if I can do it. So here it doesn't really matter. Oh, actually it did matter. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been buffing Yannica back up. Here. Demitha has a positive in that her extension also heals, and you can see here where Yannica's only alive because of the Unkillable. So this extension also has the nice bonus of increasing duration of buffs and healing by each duration. So she'll always max heal because she's buffing so many buffs, right? Here, because we have a spare turn that this isn't up, we can re-ally protect. And you'll see here when these guys go, they get this continuous heal So it looks like his health bar is at 0, but you'll see he'll get like a 500k heal from that continuous heal. And from here on, you kind of have to manual because... So now we want to rebuff Yannica. The one nice thing is Perfect Veils cannot get stolen, so they'll always keep Perfect Veil. So we'll rebuff up Yannica with block buffs, but because if we put this back on auto to keep going, Nia will always target somebody who's not full health or has any debuffs, so you have to manual from now on because otherwise Nia won't target Emic. So here, we'll provoke up. We want to get this down to 2 turns. Well, it doesn't even have to get to 2 turns, but you want to steal the 2-turn unkillable, which is why we have to keep doing 2 turns. But what we do want to do is get another continuous heal. Oh no, we're good now because Demitha's still at 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yes, so we just need to put intercept on her for this round, and then later on we'll have to add another round of continuous heals to both Tatura and Nia to try and get their buff stolen after this. But for now we can just continue healing up, extending, hoping that we don't get 3%ed, and try and get a bit of a shield built back up onto Yannica so that she stays healthier. And then right here, we don't need to do that still. We're going to keep going. Let's see. No, we're going to intercept now because we want him to steal now so that he will spread next turn. So we're going to intercept onto Demitha. Unfortunately here you can see Demitha dropped down to 1 turn on unkill. Well, will drop down to 1 turn on unkillable because she gets a turn here, and we won't get back around to giving her a second stack before it gets stolen, which is very awkward, which we could fix by trying to push it, but we're just not going to try. We're not going to push it this time because this, hopefully he'll steal, he'll go. We probably will lose another round on this head because this probably won't have fallen off, but that's just the way this one's going to go for now. So then we're going to keep going. And actually what's going to happen here is Yannica's going to lose a bunch of her buffs again, which doesn't really matter, but you can see that the steal failed. Okay, so this is kind of where things get annoying. Because he's still got buffs on him, he's not going to try and steal now. He's going to just spread those, and we have to wait another 4 turns. Which ends up being really annoying because the timing gets into another round of Poison Cloud, another round of Rotten Ward, etc., etc. So this is where things get a little bit tricky, trying to get more than 1 set of rounds stolen. What happened was Demitha... Oh, what did happen? 7, 9, 10. Did... Oh, yeah. So he ended up with 10 buffs as well. He ended up with a continuous heal, probably because his unkillable had fallen off when Demitha put 2 buffs up. So then he ended up with down to 8, got 2, which meant that he had room to get the continuous heal as well, which is what you're trying to avoid. So that's how I screwed this up. It's still sort of okay. I may still be able to fix it or recover from it here. I just might have to wait a few rounds. This is where it gets into the complications of there's just so much going on. Okay, and then we're going to keep going, just keep extending, keep buffing, keep resetting, and basically we just have to wait now a few more turns and hope that he doesn't get it stolen too soon and get it rotten warded, because that would be very annoying, because now he spread block debuffs, so we can't provoke mischief anymore. Because that's the thing, once the buffs get stolen at a lot of turns, then so he'll get rotten ward off here again on somebody, probably either himself or this. I don't know. We'll see. If he puts it on here after he steals, it's going to be a big problem for us. So yeah, he didn't steal again, which is actually a good thing because we don't want him to steal with Rotten Ward. And then we're going to just keep going. Keep going, keep going. Alright, so here he put the Rotten Ward back on himself. So that means that he won't get popped, which is okay-ish. Make sure that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he'll get the, or she'll get the 10th buff from 2 turns of unkillable, which if we're lucky, he'll put on before he goes, and it'll get that to 10, and he'll actually steal from Demitha instead of continuing to steal from Wixwell. And this is where it gets annoying if you screw up like I did. You're just having to hope on the 50-50 between Demitha and Wixwell who gets stolen from. Because then he's going to get a turn, and then Demitha's going to go. It's going to go back down to 1 turn, and it's just going to be annoying again. And that's how it goes. Basically, we just have to keep going on that and deal with what happens when he steals a 1-turn round of buffs. And you can see that basically we have to try and keep getting buffs back up onto Yannica, because now Yannica has no big shield and she loses buffs and just it falls out of proper timing, and it's just awkward. So we have to make sure we get her buffs back up. Her buffs are up at the moment. Yeah, so there's the steal. Perfect timing, except for that it's only got 1 turn on the unkillable. So now you'll see what happens is Mischief will die and nothing else will die. And then if Mischief doesn't come back up again, we don't have the damage to kill another head and try and get Mischief back up. So that's where this run would end. Okay, so we're gonna keep resetting, keep extending, keep healing up. Now we gotta get some buffs back up. There's the boost, but you can see obviously the Rotten Ward here means that we wouldn't get it from there. There's a cleanse, that's fine. Still got shields. This one, yeah, it only spreads the one shield, because this shield's unspreadable, I believe. So now we're gonna pop again. That you can see that she Mischief dies and the other ones don't, and they will continuous heal. So this is the problem that we run into of trying to get more done. Because if Mischief respawns, if a different head respawns, then we're done. We'll see what happens. If it respawns with Mischief, then we keep going. If it doesn't respawn with Mischief, then we end the run. We don't need to perfect veil. Shields up. And it's not Mischief. So that's it. That's the run. You know, it would be 8 billion clash points. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I'm recouping this because I don't accept that number of clash points personally. But obviously, for most people, that would be happy.